Welcome to 101.7 KSAM and the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network. It's time for the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Huntsville coach Rodney Southern. Live from True Texas BBQ inside HEB. Tonight, Coach Southern talks about last week's game and what to expect from this week's opponent. Now, let's go live to the coach and your host, Rob Hipp.
All right, Huntsville, Texas, how's everybody doing tonight? All right, man.
I love that crowd. Right?
Had a little fun getting started here today. Nice, cool day, but we are live here at True Texas BBQ inside HEB. Let's give a big round of applause to these guys. And I just want to say thank them so much for all of their support this season. Again, this year. We had it last year here at True Texas. I didn't have a chance to have any turkey, so Coach and Brian, I promise I'm wide awake tonight. Normally that tryptophan will put me to sleep, but no turkey today. But we're here now with head coach Rodney Southern. Let's welcome Coach as we always do. Thank you, Coach, for being here tonight.
Appreciate it.
We're just going to dive right in, Coach. A tough contest in overtime versus Montgomery, 35-28 this past Friday. 1-4 in district player of the Hornets now. You know, it was a tough loss, but as we were up there in the booth, I really think that it was one of the best games that we had this season. You go up against a team that's number 8, I believe, ranked in the state. You take them to overtime. Coach, just kind of your thoughts on that in this game.
Well, I was very proud of our kids, obviously, number one, because, you know, there were opportunities in the game to either put the game out of reach or to go the other direction. And, you know, and I told them afterwards, and I told our coaches Saturday morning, I thought from start to finish, probably other than the game we played 3 years ago against Manville, that was probably the cleanest football game we've played. We played with confidence. We made plays in a lot of different areas. You know, even the onside kick that we didn't get was about as well executed up to the point of catching the football, which is a difficult thing to do. And, of course, the touchdown to end the regulation is a play you practice, but you never know what it's going to look like live in a game. And, you know, all the guys involved in that were probably as close to perfect as you could be. So, you know, and you play a team like that, you know, I have a lot of respect for John Bofine and what Montgomery's done because he's done it for 15 years. But I thought we had opportunities, and, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but, you know, I really thought for about 5 seconds after we scored right there at the end to go ahead and line up and go for 2 and try to win the game right there. And if we'd have had another timeout, I probably would have handled that a little bit different. But first thing that popped in my head is Fort Bend Marshall 3 years ago, you know, when we had to use a timeout in that situation, and it came back to hurt us in the end. So, you know, we kicked the extra point and went to overtime, and obviously they made one more play than we did. But, you know, I told the kids I was very proud of how we competed, and we didn't hesitate. And in the situations that we've been in the last probably 5 or 6 games, if you hesitate, you're going to get beat. And even though we didn't win the game, I was very proud of our effort.
You know, Coach, Rob and I talked about that game, you know, in our post-game show, how it was probably one of the most exciting games we've seen in a long time, and how the Hornets fought, you know, from the beginning to the end. And, you know, again, that hook and ladder was executed perfectly to send you guys into overtime. And just, man, we couldn't have been more proud. After the defeat in overtime, what did you tell your guys? We talked a little bit about it before the show started, but after such an emotional high, what do you tell your guys after something like that?
Well, the first thing I told them when I gathered them at the, you know, after the alma mater's done, first thing I said is I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of how you competed. And I think they have listened to some of the things that we've been trying to preach as a coaching staff and got out of that lull, for lack of a better word, that we had been in after C. King and Rudder and some things that don't go your way. And even though the game didn't go our way, I think they understand it. I think they've matured some, even in defeat. And there's times where, you know, you got to be proud of the group of people collectively. And at the same time, you're disappointed because you didn't win. But, you know, and I didn't tell them that night, but they know now. You know, even if we had won that game, we still have to do what we have to do this week in order to get into the playoffs. So, you want to compete, you want to play well, you want to win every game, and we all understand that. But, the biggest thing I told them I was proud of them, and the fact that, you throw a hook and lateral and you say, okay, you got to throw it with 50 seconds left in the game to get to overtime, and the people that are involved in that to execute at that level. It says a lot about our coaching staff, but it says even more about our kids.
Coach, of course, one final regular season game coming up tomorrow night. We'll talk about that coming up in our second break. But through these games, again, having to play through some adversity this season. The first game didn't get to play due to COVID on the opposite team. Just what has this season been like so far through all of that? How would you kind of talk about that adversity and what these kids have had to fight through this season?
Well, I think if you go back and start in August, I think, the expectation level that we all have for our program, and when I say we all, I hope it's this community, our school district, the superintendent, me, you, everybody that's involved. And then when you get punched in the mouth like we did against C.E. King, and then you have a situation in the game against Brian Rudder that partly was out of our control with officiating, and then you have another situation against Lamar Consolidated where you do everything that you're supposed to do, and a player who's hustling gets hit with a punt in the back. So adversity or bad luck, whatever you want to call it, but we're standing here today with a chance still to get into the playoffs, and the kids have prepared. We had a short week, obviously, because we're playing on a Thursday, but they prepared Monday and Tuesday as well. We came back this afternoon and watched film, and I know they're ready to play. Now it's just a matter of finishing this thing and finishing it the right way. And who knows if we make it into the playoffs. People said a couple years ago we had to go to Marshall and play a district champion and all the things that could or would have happened, and we took care of our business. And, we're going to have to do that again if we get in, and, we'll prepare for that. And I think these kids will prepare the right way, and they'll go compete in those games.
Coach, here within the next 2 weeks, will we see the return of your beard at all?
I don't know. We'll see how cool it is tomorrow night. It may have to come back, but my wife tells me it ages me 10 years, so I try to keep as much gray away as possible.
Bridget doesn't like it whenever the gray starts coming out on me. I told her it's wisdom fibers. So,
That's exactly what it is.
Well, we'll step aside, friends. We'll take a break. Second segment coming up as we look ahead to Fulshear tomorrow night. Stay with us live from True Texas BBQ. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show.
So I'm here with Clint Mack from Wiesner of Huntsville. And Clint, can you tell me why it is you have so much repeat business?
I guess really is the fact that we treat everybody like a family member. We look at our customers as family members, and we've been doing it for the past 26, 27 years.
Now, you get different generations as well, correct?
Yeah, we do. One of the craziest things is when you sell a grandchild the vehicles that you've been selling their grandparents. So 3 generations and going on 4.
Well, you've heard from Clint Mack at Wiesner of Huntsville, and if you haven't tried Wiesner of Huntsville, go do so. You'll be glad you did.
This is Cicely again with Hartfield Florist. In business for over 50 years, at Hartfield's we strive to meet all your floral needs every day. From birthdays and anniversaries to weddings and other special occasions, we can bring your vision to life and customize your unique request. Give us a call at 295-5448 or visit us online at HuntsvilleHartfieldFlorist.com. The Pierce family and everyone at Hartfield's wants to say thank you for allowing us to personalize your events just like we've been doing since 1957.
All right, friends, welcome back. True Texas BBQ. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't hear the whistle that we normally hear. I guess the official whistler isn't here tonight. Terry, do you know who that is? Who does that whistle usually? No, he'll let us know here in a minute. We want to welcome everybody back here to our second segment. Before we dig in, as we look ahead to Fulshear, for those of you that may be here for the first time tonight, we have some sign-up sheets that are on the tables. Make sure that you fill out those forms, and you can enter to win a limited edition. We have 3 of them that we're going to give away on the very last Hornet Nation Coaches Show of the season. But the players sign these footballs every week here at the show, and so we're going to be giving those away again at the end of the season. So make sure that you come out. Every time you come, you get another entry to be a part of that. We'll look ahead here in this second segment. The Hornets are on the road tomorrow night, a Thursday night game to battle Fulshear. The Chargers are 5-4 overall, 2-3 in district play, currently tied in that 4th spot They defeated Lamar, consolidated 31-24 last Friday. That kept the Hornets in the playoff hunt. Coach, you mentioned a little bit earlier in the first segment, a little bit about the preparation. What's it been like heading into this week with a Thursday versus a Friday game?
Well, it's been really good. Obviously Monday and Tuesday now becomes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you have to kind of condense everything. We got our kick the field and our walkthrough done this morning before all the bad weather hit. So I think the preparation's been really good. It's been really good all year long. So this week wasn't a whole lot different, obviously, other than you lose a day. So you have to kind of condense. Tuesday's always our big work day, and we got both those practices done in the morning and after school really well. So I think they're ready to go and they're prepared for the game.
Coach, going and facing Fulshear this Thursday, to get into the district playoff race, what do you tell your guys after the season so far in the game last week to prepare them for this ballgame?
Well, big thing is you got to explain the situation with social media and all the things that are out there now. You can't keep anything a secret. You can't keep any thing kind of under wraps. I explained to them this morning, and most of them probably already knew the scenario. There's a chance of obviously us, Lamar Consolidated, and Fulshear, all three being tied. If that happens, then we have to beat Lamar Fulshear tomorrow night by more than 7 points or more. If we win tomorrow night by 7 or less or 7 or more and Lamar Consolidated loses to Brian Rudder, then we're automatically in. So, and obviously if Fulshear beats us, they're in no matter what the other game happens. And and the thing I told them today is I said, I don't ever want you thinking about we got to score 7 more points or we have to do some things different. Those are decisions that I'll have to make or our coaching staff will have to make. And we may have to do some things unusual at the end of the game because the thing is we're going to play tomorrow night. We won't know what happens with Lamar and Brian Rudder until Friday night. So, we need to go win the game, number one, and don't worry about that other stuff. But if we are in that situation, and I've been in that situation one other time in my career where you're up by a certain number of points, but you still onside kick, and you have to prepare as if you have the worst situation possible, and we're prepared for that. But I don't want the kids worried about that because they got to go play and win the game.
Talking about Fulshear on their side of the ball, some positions we should keep an eye out for.
Well, they've been pretty balanced. They're actually first or second in most categories in the district offensively. I think he really wants to run the football. They've done a good job. They've got 2 or 3 backs that they kind of rotate in and out. Their quarterback, number 9, has kind of been their trigger guy. They're very similar to us O-line-wise. They're not real big, but they do enough movement and enough things offensively to create problems for you. I still think they want to line up and run the football, which is, the way most teams are successful. But they play action off of it. They are RPO off of it. But the thing for them offensively is we've got to get them out of rhythm where they can't sustain drives. When they sustain drives, they score points. Defensively, I think they're a lot like us. They're not big. They're athletic in some places. They're experienced in some places. But, this is Coach Nick's first year there, so a lot of the things are still new to them probably in terms of what they're trying to accomplish defensively. Where they really scare you is in the kicking game. They do a lot of stuff, especially kickoff and just different looks that you have to prepare for because there's always a threat of them onside kicking every kickoff. And then in their specialty areas, punt return, things like that, they've got some wrinkles that if you're not prepared numbers-wise, they'll hurt you.
Coach, of course, you as working with special teams as well, and you're very well versed in that. Just how important is that role, and how much time do you guys spend every week working on special teams?
Well, it's obviously very important. The other night, and Christian would tell you if he was here, he was very upset after that onside kick because he kicked it perfect. He got the right bounce. They had a kid that made a play. That play probably, if we get it, we're up 14-7 at that point. That may change the entire complexion of the game. But But we break our practice into usually 5, 10, or 15-minute segments. So we spend about 20 to 25 minutes every practice day doing some phase of the kicking game. And, because obviously just like as simple as it sounds, once we scored the other night, we go out and get a penalty, and now Christian's got to kick an extra point. Well, extra points, you see it in the NFL now when they moved them back a little bit. Extra points are almost automatic. Well, at Sam Houston, for us, they're hopefully automatic, but a lot of people don't realize the goalposts at Sam Houston are college goalposts. They're not high school goalposts. So they're 6 feet, 3 feet on either side, that those things are condensed. So Christian's got to go out there and do that. And then obviously being involved in our kickoff and kickoff returns, and because I want to organize that from the standpoint of the kicker's eyes or the punter's eyes or the quarterback's eyes. So that's why I'm more involved in that. Plus, I have a lot of faith in both our offense and defensive staff, so I know that area is taken care of. So I kind of stay in my own lane with that. And I also love the fact that, a week ago, Coach at Lake Creek, Coach Kennedy and I joked because we ran a fake on them last year, and he said, "You're not going to get me on one this year." And, and we knew we had an opportunity, and we think we've got some opportunities tomorrow night as well.
Coach, being a short week this week for practice, how's that gone? And secondly, how's the overall health of your football team?
Well, we're probably like last week. We're as healthy as we've been probably all year long. We don't even have the nagging bumps and bruises like we've had in the past, I think, because we've been pretty clean the last couple ball games. And obviously our open week kind of falling in there a little later in the year than normal. So prep's been good. We got everything done today that we needed before the weather hit, so they're ready to go.
Coach, I know, of course, the biggest thing is you got to take care of business tomorrow night. You talked about it a little bit earlier, maybe for those that are just joining us or those that didn't hear it fully, just kind of that playoff scenario again. Of course, got to take care of business tomorrow night.
Well, if we win the game, regardless of the score, if we win the game and Lamar Consolidated loses to Rudder, we're in, no matter what. If we win the game by 7 or more and Lamar Consolidated were to beat Rudder, then us, Fulshire, and Lamar would all three be tied. And head-to-head, we would have all beat each other. Once it goes from head-to-head, the next tiebreaker is points. So at that time, if we beat them by exactly 7, us and Lamar Fulshire would be tied again, and then we would have the head-to-head against them. So a 7 or more point win gets us in no matter what. A win less than 7, we've got to have Lamar Consolidated lose to Brian Rudder.
Awesome. And there's people behind the scenes that are figuring that stuff out all day. I let the experts do that, and then I ask you, Coach, so thank you for clarifying.
It's unusual because some districts have what they call positive points and negative points, and there's a lot of different scenarios, but the coach at Fulshire and I have already talked, and I know what I think it is, and he knows what he thinks it is. And you hate to have to get that kind of detail about a game, but when you have tiebreaker rules, you got to know what they are. And, so if we were up by 4 with a minute left, we may have to onside kick and, try to get the ball and kick a field goal to assure our place, because obviously we don't want to have to be sitting around Friday night till 11 o'clock waiting to see what happens, to know kind of what our preparation would be from that point forward.
Well, I appreciate you explaining that, because sometimes folks may be watching back at home, and if you're in the lead, why is the coach trying to run up more points? Well, in some cases you have to, and so thank you for explaining that to us, Coach. Well, looking forward to Thursday night's matchup tomorrow night, so make sure you come out. 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on the air at 6:30. Coach, as always, appreciate your time, and looking forward to them. Sting them tomorrow night, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Let's give it up one more time. Head Coach Rodney Southern. As we continue our coaches show here, the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. We'll be back in a few moments as we'll bring on some of our player guests. Stay with us live here tonight again from True Texas BBQ.
My stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Ooh, let me try it.
Try Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb.
All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs.
Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right, friends, welcome back. How's everybody doing tonight at True Texas BBQ? Eating some good food. My buddy Matthew's here tonight. Good to see you, Matt. A lot of great folks here. I want to welcome everybody, so thank y'all for being here tonight as we get underway here in just a few moments. During this segment, always want to acknowledge some of our sponsors that are here. Miss Stephanie Pitts of Advantage Specialties, thank you for being here tonight. And also, making his return after a week gone, Mr. Sam Moak of Moak & Moak Attorneys Law. Welcome back, Sam. Good to have you, man. He was out last week because of the Astro, but that's okay. He was still watching, and because you were there and sending messages, they won and got us to the World Series. Now, we didn't get the World Series, of course, but Sam, thank you for all your support, man. Well, as we look ahead here in segment 3, we'll talk a little defense first. Now joined by the senior safety, Mr. Waylon Zapoli. What's up, Waylon? Good to have you, man.
It's good to be here.
You were on last year, so does it feel like you were here just yesterday, or does it feel like a year's been gone?
It feels like it's been a while. Yeah.
So what's been new from last year to this year, man? How are things been going? What have you been up to?
Well, I just been working on my game, trying to get better at practice every year and get stronger, faster throughout the off season.
What does it feel like this year? You know, last year, of course, a junior, had a great season last year. This year, a senior. What has that been like for you now? Being a senior, man.
Being a senior, your leadership role, it's deep in because you got new guys coming up to varsity from JV or freshman. You just got to show them the ropes and, help them get better as players too.
I know this year's been a little bit tough, but you guys have had some success. We'll talk a little bit about Montgomery here in a few moments, but not just looking at this year, Waylon, but considering your entire high school career, what have you enjoyed the most?
I've enjoyed the people I've met, the friendships I've made with all my teammates. I feel like I made some connections that will last beyond football. So, it's a great opportunity to play, and it's always fun.
Waylon, from your junior season, I met your father before the show started, and we've called your name a lot out on the radio, and it's because you've done such a great job out on the football field. What have you done from your junior year to this year to prepare you for your senior season and the leadership role and things like that?
Well, we'd go to summer workouts every day, we'd lift weights, run, just, work on your technique. And that's all you can do, and hopefully you grow a little bit. I think I have, so.
Working on those things, what did you learn most, before this season, just going through the training camps? What do you think were some positive takeaways from that?
Well, we changed a few plays, got Sky as a new one this year, and that's helped us out in certain games. So, yeah.
So we're talking to Waylon Zapoli, the senior safety. Last week, as we said earlier, even in the loss, Brian and I felt like it was the best game that you guys had all season. And I know it's tough to come out on the losing side of that, but from a defensive standpoint, what was going through your mind during that game, especially forcing the overtime you saw the offense and the play that they had on the hook and ladder. What are you thinking about over there, man?
Oh, well, when that play happened, I was just jumping up and down. I wasn't really thinking about anything. But throughout the whole game, you just want to do your best to hopefully have them score enough points for your offense to take advantage. Give your offense the ball more often, give them some more opportunities. But I guess we were one opportunity short.
You know what, Rob and I talked about it. Obviously we called the games all year long and watched you guys and love watching you and calling those ball games. And when y'all played Lake Creek, you guys got down by 14 points. And then at some point, right after that, I think you guys seemed like y'all came together as a group and just said, you know what, let's just play our Hornet football that we know, and y'all turned it around. So kind of talk about that for a minute, and just because y'all played that way against Montgomery. I mean, you're talking about a number 8th ranked team in the state but y'all gave them everything you had, and it was an outstanding performance. But what flipped after that 14-0 start at Lake Creek?
Well, when that game started, we went out there, and I don't think we were really prepared mentally or something. They just hit us with a trick play right off the bat, and it worked. It kind of punched us in the mouth a little bit. But I think once we got our nerves together and we just calmed down and we started playing as a team, that's when everything turned around.
I mean, you could physically see the change. I mean, y'all got down to 14 points, and then Rob and I talked about it, said, man, this is the Hornet team of last year that we've come to expect to win all the time and play like you played. And it was, just an outstanding effort. Where can you grow from this point going forward in your game?
Well, you can always improve. You can always do something better. No one's perfect. So I think personally I just need to help people around me, get better because, you win as a team. You don't win as an individual. So.
One final game remaining. You've played a lot of football. Let's step outside of football real quick and just talk about looking at your life from now to this point. What is something that you've learned outside of football, maybe that football has taught you that you can apply to life outside?
Well, I think the biggest thing I've learned from football is how to be a leader. I'm in a lot of organizations outside of football in school, like NHS and all sorts of things. And, from football into those organizations, I can really I know how to handle people to, get them to work together.
So you're talking NHS, National Honor Society, and a lot to do with academics and that. Just how important of a role does your academics play? Because you've got to make you've got to make passing grades to play. Not only are you passing, but being in the NHS means that you're one of the top with academics. How important is that?
Academics is really important to me, just for my future and, for what I want to be. I want to be a doctor, so, I got to learn everything I can.
Awesome, man. We've got a few more questions. Brian will get one here in a minute. Just want to ask you, who are some role models that you've looked up to?
I've looked up to my dad. He's really taught me how to take care of a family and, be a man.
And your dad's here tonight, is that right?
Yep.
All right, let's give it up. Thank you for being here tonight, Dad. Appreciate you, man, and just the positive impact that our parents make on our kids, Brian.
What does it mean to you to be a Huntsville Hornet?
Well, it means to, put everything out on the field and, just to work your hardest at practice in the games all the time and just to be a leader in the community outside of football because when you're walking around on the street, people will see you and they'll recognize you, wave to you, and it's just, that's what it means, just to be a leader in the community.
Talking about, being a leader in the community and people waving when they see you around town, the younger generation that's coming up that's going to be in your shoes one day, what is that experience like when you get to talk to younger kids and they really look up to you guys? I know when I was in elementary, man, I would look up to the varsity players and I thought, these guys are huge. What is that like for you?
It's a little funny because I don't feel very big, but then when they're looking at me just with their eyes all big, it just makes me smile a little bit. So, I really enjoy it.
Outside of football, what are some hobbies that you have?
I like to golf. That's what I like to do. Play with my dad on the weekends.
Who's better, you or your dad?
I'm better.
Oh, man, okay, all right.
There you go. Well, you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago, but after high school, what are your plans?
My plans are to go to college and then med school and hopefully become a doctor.
Is there a particular college that you want to go to?
Yeah, I've been looking at Rice. So.
That's a good one.
Yep.
As far as being a doctor, a lot of different avenues. Is there like a family doctor, a certain type of doctor?
Well, a radiologist.
All right, man. Cool. Final shout-out. Camera's right here on you, Waylon. I'm looking over here.
How many people?
There's 410,000 people watching tonight. Waylon, who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight?
I want to thank my mom and my brother, my sister, Jocelyn, and my grandma.
Awesome. Let's give it up. Waylon Zapoli, great young man. Good to have you on the show tonight. And we're looking forward to tomorrow night. Well, friends, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. We got one more player interview coming up. Stay with us. We are live from True Texas BBQ inside HEB. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show.
Watch live Hornet games and Bearcat in the Booth video on the KSAM Sports Network at ksam1017.com. Powered by our friends at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, our hometown experts for celebrating life.
Gamers Grove is Huntsville's local game store located at 1212 14th Street, carrying a wide range of tabletop games and accessories for all ages. Family owned and operated since 2012. Gamers Grove is here to provide a friendly environment where people can come to play tabletop games, make friends, and become part of an ever-growing community. Board games, card games, miniatures, and more at Gamers Grove in Huntsville, 1212 14th Street. Gamers Grove.
All right, friends, welcome back. We are live from True Texas BBQ. How's everybody doing tonight? That whistle return. Is that you, Justin, that's been doing that? Okay, I was wondering who that was, man. It's Justin over there doing. I looked over. I thought it was Coach for a minute. I was like, man, Coach has got that whistle going on.
Fired up.
Well, we're here on our fourth segment as we're having a lot of fun here tonight. I want to, again, thank everybody for being here. Now our offensive player. Let's give it up for the senior wide receiver, Mr. Justin Butcher. Justin, man, we good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How you doing, man?
Good.
I saw you sitting over in that corner. What was going through your mind while Waylon was getting interviewed, man?
Nervous.
Just nervous. Yeah, it's just us talking. There's nobody else here. This is like, you know, that what they call it, Oculus, the virtual reality glasses. So it's just you, me, and Brian, but we got the VR glasses. That's what all this is, okay, man?
Yeah, not those 400,000 people watching.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
Yeah, we kicked them off. We said there's only one on here now, Justin, because we know. But Justin, you know, you're a senior, man. You've had a good journey here in Huntsville. Just talk a little bit about what's it been like this year as a senior for you.
Well, it's been tough because we've been like losing repeatedly games. We've been on a losing streak, and we had to, practice harder and try to get back on a winning streak so we can go to playoffs and go on a win.
Yeah, just get in there. I get what you're saying, man. Well, Justin, you know, as a senior this year, just, you know, talking about your leadership role, do you feel that you've kind of been a leader to some of the younger guys, and maybe what have you told some of those guys throughout these games?
Yeah, the kids, they look up to me. I tell them they got to work harder, like don't come to practice and play, and just give each other a look so they can play their opponent.
We've noticed, especially last year, this year, I mean, you've got a lot of speed. What do you do to work on how fast you are, man?
I go to some workouts. On my off time, I try to go to the field and work on my speed and feet.
You could probably – there was a guy one time that I was playing flag football with, and he and I were running side by side, and I thought I was running pretty fast, and I felt good. He had the ball. I was trying to go after him. No, I had the ball. He was coming after me. I'm sitting there running as fast as I can. He turns around and starts running backwards faster than me. And that's what I think of with you, man. If you and I were running, you would just take off, turn around and run backwards and kind of point at me and say, like, hey, come on, dude, speed up. That's how fast you are, Justin.
I wouldn't do you like that.
Right. Let me ask you this, Justin. You've been on the varsity for 4 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, man, as a freshman, and looking back those years ago as a freshman playing football on varsity to where you are as a senior on varsity, talk about that experience real quick.
Well, my freshman year, I played behind a really good, talented receiver, Jalen Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't touch the field much.
Mm-hmm.
The years after that, I just know I had to work, like, because I'm next up. I had to work harder and show people that I'm supposed to be up there for a reason, and just work to get better.
Guys like Jalen Griffin, what'd you learn from him?
Routes, speed. He taught me just go out there and don't be nervous. Play hard with your heart and leave everything on the field.
What are some of the things you learned this off season and in camp this summer heading into this year?
We lost a lot of seniors last year, so we had to work harder because we knew it was like we lost our whole defense. So we had to come out there and put everything on the field, leave everything on the field.
Let's talk a little bit about last week, man. It was pretty incredible. Brian and I thought we were about to go through the glass up at the press box window. It was such an incredible play. you guys, and we've already said it multiple times tonight, I really feel like that was the best game of the season, even in that loss. But there was 26 seconds, I believe, left. Montgomery goes down. They score a touchdown. But I had this gut feeling that it's like, we're not out of this yet. And then you guys prove that 100% accurate because we go out, you get the kickoff, then the first play, I believe it was a little hook and ladder to Trey Taylor first. Trey flips it around to you. You take off on the left side. You're running down the field. And I think Jalen McClain may have given you a block up there, too, on the right, if I'm not mistaken. There was a block that happened up there as I was seeing it.
Beautiful block.
And then you just haul it in for a touchdown. Talk about that play and just what was going through your mind from the moment when Trey turned around and threw that to you, man.
Well, when he threw it to me, I just knew I had to get to the touchdown or at least get close enough and get out of bounds so we have enough time to make another play.
Is that something I would assume you guys practice that play during, practices? Is that something you go through quite a bit?
We practice a lot, but sometimes we mess up, and I just feel like sometimes it's not going to work. But at that moment, we knew we had to execute, and everybody had to do their job, so it'll work.
And in that practice, and I got one last question. I'll send it back to Brian, but I did have one last question related to that. In that practice, when you guys are going through that, are you the guy? Are you the target of that hook and ladder? Is that how it's usually set up? Is Trey Taylor usually the one to catch it and then pitch it back? How does that work?
It's made for me to get it. It's made for me to score. Made for Trey to catch it. It's just teamwork.
So if anybody else is out there watching opposing teams, that is not what it's for. So we just want to take that back for a moment. I shouldn't ask you that. I'm giving away your plays, man. That's all right.
What I was going to say was that was probably the best executed play like that, the hook and lateral, I've ever seen at any level. And the way y'all pulled it off and the time y'all pulled it off was absolutely incredible, man. And my hat's off to you, because that worked like it was an incredible play. And for you guys to pull it off with just, 20-something seconds left in the ball game and not think about anything else except just doing what you're supposed to do, was incredible. Good job.
Thank you.
We kind of continue through that game. Justin, you go into overtime. I know it was tough there in the OT, but just how would you kind of wrap up that game? If someone said, hey, how would you describe that game? What would be a way that you would describe it?
We fought from the beginning to the end. We left everything on the field. We played our hearts out. We came up short.
Hey, that's awesome. That's all you guys can do, man. Talking about just how you've progressed in football over the years, who's been some role models for you? Who have you looked up to, man?
I looked up to
any professional players that you've enjoyed watching growing up?
Griffin?
Yeah, I watched him, Jalen Griffin. For my feet work, I watched Jerry Jeudy, Hands, Devontae Smith, and a lot of those guys.
Any, classic Huntsville Hornet players like Brian Adams? I'm just kidding, Justin. Brian.
Man, I had hands of stone.
Justin, I always have to give Brian a hard time, so I threw him one. You and me will
he does that every week. I should expect it by
Go
now.
ahead, Brian.
What does it mean to you, Justin? Again, man, incredible career and still going, but what does it mean for you to be a Huntsville Hornet?
It means a lot because a lot of people look up to me. Well, us Huntsville Hornets, the team, the kids, they just expect us to do right. And when we go walk around places, people notice us.
It's a pretty incredible feeling, isn't it? Yeah. Knowing the responsibility you have. Waylon talked about it a little bit ago, too. You guys, and you may not realize it, you might, but you got these elementary kids that look up to you guys and think you guys just absolutely hung the moon. So that's pretty awesome feeling, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Justin, we're talking to Justin Butcher, senior wide receiver. You're a senior man, one regular season game left, and we're believing for the playoffs. We know that you guys are going to go out there and give everything you have against Fulshear. Future plans, where do you want to be after this, man?
Hopefully I'm somewhere playing football, but if not, I'm going to be a welder. Go to a welding school and get a good job.
where would you want to play football at? If there's somebody watching tonight and they say, man, we want to give this young man a shot, where do you want to be?
Anywhere somebody give me a chance.
I like that. All right, let's give it up, Justin. I like that comment, man. Because I'm telling you tonight, that's all that some people need is just a chance. And I believe in what you do. And, in fact, Justin, I wanted to mention this. David Angstad, our good friend, said to hold your head high, Justin. Plenty of football is left, man. And we truly believe that. So, final shout-out. Camera's right there on you. I lied to you. There was one person, but we invited them all back in. Now there's 782,000 on that stream. And so who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight, Justin?
Shout-out my mom, coaching staff, teammates,
all right,
supporters.
Man. All right, final question. Who's your favorite coach, man? You don't have to
Coach
answer. Yeah, there you go. We're just checking you, man.
Great answer.
All right, well, let's give it up, Justin. But it's good to have you here tonight, man. We appreciate you.
Good job, Justin.
And I got to tell you, friends, if you got to come out Thursday night, look, there's still an opportunity. Come out to Full Sure. We'll be at Traylor Stadium, and you've got to see these Hornets play, especially this young man. It's just an awesome sight to see, and we know that the best is still yet to come for you, young man, so hang your head high. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We have our Booster Minute coming up. I thank our good friend, it's Brian in the house. Brian Carroll's in the house, so we will have him come up and chat with us on our final segment. Stay with us. We are live from True Texas BBQ inside HEB Huntsville. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show.
Sam Houston Electric Cooperative is not your typical electric company. We're a local, not-for-profit electric cooperative. We don't have customers, we have members. People aren't just our number one priority, they're the reason we're here. Learn more at samhouston.net. Sam Houston Electric Cooperative. We're your source for power and great service.
Cooler overnight lows are here. That means it's time to check out your home heating system and get a tune-up. It may even be time for a new system. Either way, it's time for you to call All Temp Heating and Air Conditioning in Huntsville. They've been serving Huntsville and Walker County for decades. When you call, they'll send one of their technicians to check out your system and ensure it's operating efficiently. And when it's time for a new system, you'll have the confidence in knowing that you're getting the best from the best. That's All Temp Heating and Air Conditioning.
This is Nolan Ryan. So what's it going to be? Hot dog or a hamburger? Hill country or the Gulf Coast? Making lists and making choices. That's life. Choose wisely. Choose American Standard Air. Dependable home comfort today and for years to come. You have more important things to worry about than home comfort. Making life simple. That's American Standard Air. Comfort the way you like it. AmericanStandardAir.com.
That's All Temp Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them at 936-291-7836.
Welcome back, friends, live from True Texas BBQ. Final segment. How y'all doing tonight? I think that commercial, Nolan Ryan always says, is it a hamburger or a hot dog? Well, it's neither tonight because we got some good barbecue in here. So we're enjoying this one. Thanks to everybody being here. Before we get started with our good friend, Mr. Brian Carroll, thank you, Sam, for this note. We want to wish a very happy birthday to a wonderful and one of the greatest Hornets, little Jill Clements. Can we give it up for Jill tonight? Happy birthday to you. And, Sam, thank you for reminding us of that. Also, our good friends tonight, Harvey Vanacek joining us, Stephen Kroll, Jimmy Langley, David Angstad we talked about earlier, John Staniland, and many others, including Kimberly Taylor. So we got a lot of folks joining us that are sending in messages during our live broadcast, so thank you for that. We are now joined by the Brian Carroll in the house. Brian, good to see you, man.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
It's always good to have you up here, man. When you come up here, I feel there's already like this good energy after the kids come up here, and then Brian comes up on here, and it's just, you just keep that energy flowing, man.
Where's the apparel?
Yeah, what are we doing? That's what we're waiting for, man.
Come on.
We have wearing apparel this evening. Was unable to get by the concession stand to pick up anything to bring with me this evening, but we will have apparel sales. We still have our polo shirts for both men. We have some ladies' sizes also. We have the dry fit long sleeve shirts. We have cotton cotton long sleeve Hornet shirts. We have some T-shirts, and we have some hats available also for sale. And we have the lower class. We have 2 playoff games for the middle school for next week. Tonight's game was canceled. Just make sure everybody knows that both sub-varsity games was canceled due to weather today. But on Monday night and Tuesday night of next week, there will be 2 football games both nights at Hornet Field. They are the playoff games. Last night, all of our teams won, so we're hosting again this week the championship football for the middle school teams.
Awesome. And that's so important that you mentioned that, because you guys are so involved, of course, with varsity, but you're also helping out with the sub-varsity teams and the junior high teams. Just how important is it to be able to be involved at all those levels, Brian?
Sure, it's really important because that's where our building block starts at. That's where I started at, was back when Seth was in 8th grade. That's when I joined the Booster Club and started just coming up, trying to help out to be a part of it. So.
Awesome. Well, I think it's really important. I know I haven't been there as much as I was this season. Last season, I was there quite a bit. I haven't been able to attend as much of the meetings as I would like to, but I want to tell you, in the community, if you get a chance, please come out, support the Huntsville Hornet Quarterback Club. There's always a lot of opportunities to help out. And you talk about just really getting things rolling and being an integral part of this school and these Hornets. It takes place a lot with the Huntsville Hornet Quarterback Club, and that is your booster club, so we appreciate all that you guys do.
And we appreciate the opportunity to come out and speak about it. And I'd like to thank the guys that run the run-through tunnel for us every week and stuff, that goes out and puts that up, because they do a lot of work to set up those tunnels and stuff. And the giant blow-up, that's a lot of work. And I want to send a shout-out to them. And I also want to send a shout-out to Rob Swatcher, who's our treasurer. But Rob is over the concession stand and stuff, and I appreciate all that he's done to help with running our concession stand for this year.
Anybody here tonight that's involved with the Booster Club or any of that setup, can y'all raise your hands, please? I know that a lot of folks, we appreciate it. Let's give them a round of applause. Brandy does, too. We know Brandy. She's back there, too, so we appreciate you. Again, it's just those core components and just the things that make what it is so great. And I enjoy being there when I can and just seeing all the wonderful things that are happening. And it's also good because you kind of get a sneak peek from Coach Southern as well of kind of what's going on. And it really keeps you in the loop of what's happening with Huntsville High School and also our other, as far as athletics, and our other kids as well.
That's right. And for those that missed the meeting this week, we had a great presentation about the upcoming builds that's going to be happening with the facilities at the high school. So it was a really good meeting the other night.
And how do y'all's meetings, as this season progresses, how does y'all's meetings continue to run? Do they run alongside the football games? Maybe there's someone tonight wanting to know, hey, I'd like to come out, but how many more meetings are you guys going to have this season?
Sure, we'll have a few more meetings this year. Even after the season ends, we'll be planning a football banquet. Hopefully that won't be till later on. We'll continue to play through December, and we'll have a football banquet probably first part of the year, and then our meetings will go to once a month. Then around the end of July, we'll kind of start back up as football season starts back up. And starting about the time that school starts, we go into a weekly meeting.
Awesome. Well, Brian, we appreciate all you do, man. You guys rock and roll and taking care of business, and it means a lot to this program, I know, to the coaching staff and to the community. So thank you for all that you do.
Yes, sir.
We'll give it up for the Booster Club. Thank you, guys. Well, that will wind down our show. My beautiful fiance Bridget here tonight, so appreciate her coming out as well. And for everybody being here, thank you for being a part of this show. Just to let you know, and I don't want to overstep my bounds, Coach, so correct me if I'm wrong, but we look forward to continuing this show as long as the season continues. And then after the final game of the season, we'll probably have a wrap-up show as we did last year. And on that wrap-up show, and we're hoping that that's 5 or 6 shows away, we will be drawing for those footballs. The thing is, if you put in your name and you are not at that final wrap-up show, you will not get a football. So if you can't be here, come by proxy. Have somebody come out here. So, see, I got you. All season long you've been coming. And, Sam, the Astros are done, so you can be here for that last one, my friend. So come on out to that last show. But, again, we're hoping it's going to be a while, and we are going to be giving away those footballs. And we do have the neon sign on order as well. And so we'll be giving that away to the volunteer that's been helping you guys out in the concession. So I have not forgot about you on that either.
All right, appreciate that. And also, for Sam Mocha's got a special. We have a special drawing for something that Sam Mocha's offered too. So
awesome, and that'll be at the end of the last show. Great. Okay. Well, perfect. Well, friends, again, thank everybody for being here tonight. We're looking forward to tomorrow night, 7 p.m. kickoff. 6:30, we'll go live on 101.7 FM KSAM and also at ksam1017.com with live video of that game, completely free, thanks to our generous sponsors. Of course, True Texas BBQ for allowing us, and our good friends at First Financial Bank who have made this entire season possible again, and live streaming services have been brought to you by our good friends at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. For Brian Adams, I'm Rob Hipp, reminding you tonight, friends, that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there tonight needs you. And as we do in every show, on the count of 3, let's give them a real loud, all the way to Trailer Stadium, Sting 'em Hornets on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Sting 'em Hornets! We'll see you. Good night, and God bless from Huntsville, Texas.